Hello, my name is Angela Schumann and I am the Shakespeare Whisperer. Hubble, bubble, toil and trouble. You've probably heard that quote before, but did you know that it came from Macbeth? You did? Great. Well, did you know that it's a misquote from Macbeth and one of the most common ones? It's actually not hubble, bubble, toil and trouble, as the witches dance around their cauldron, but rather it's double, double, toil and trouble. Now at this point you're probably thinking, is it really that important? Does it really matter? Got a life? But actually it does. Those words are very important because the words double double are one of the most central elements of the play. If you were watching Macbeth or reading it and you asked me, and what is one thing that I should or could look out for as I go through this play, I would say pay attention to doubleness. Pay attention to when the word double comes up, or pay attention to a kind of two-facedness within the characters and also to double meanings in language, because that is at the heart of this play. It is all about doubling. And right off the bat, when the witches first speak, they say fair is foul and foul is fair. So already we're seeing a kind of a doubling here, a kind of a two-facedness. What is not and what is not is. There's a confusion which stays with us right throughout the play. We see it again when Macbeth is thinking about killing Duncan and he's going through the reasons in his head and he says he's here in double trust. Or when, one of my favourites, when Lady Macbeth is hosting King Duncan at their house shortly before she and her husband will murder him that night, and he says, hey, thanks for your hospitality, this has been great. And she says something like, oh, you're welcome, don't worry, everything is done and then done again, twice over. And of course on the surface that means like we're willing to do what it takes to make you comfortable and then to do more, to do twice as much because we love you so much. But of course we realize that there is a double meaning to this, namely that there is a more sinister thing going on here, that we're going to go back on our word, that we are two-faced, that in fact there's a double reason for us being so hospitable to you, namely that we're going to kill you. Again, when there's a prophecy about Banquo's heirs, about his children inheriting the throne, you know, Macbeth will have the throne but his children won't be on it, Banquo's will be. The imagery that's used is that we see a child of Banquo's with a crown signifying that he will be king, and he holds up a mirror, and in the mirror we have an infinite regress of other young sons of Banquo becoming kings of Scotland. Again, a mirror, doubling, multiplying. Two of the most famous examples of this doubleness of language are the ways in which Macbeth is finally destroyed. He is destroyed through equivocation or through double meanings in language. So he's got the throne, he's king of Scotland, but he's quite paranoid, he's not having a good time. Turns out, like, when you murder somebody, things don't go as smoothly as you'd planned, so maybe you need to think twice about it. He goes to the witches because who wouldn't go to them? And he's like, hey, like, I'm really stressed about this, like, am I secure on the throne? Like, give me some advice, tell me what you know, tell me about the future, what's going on? And they're like, oh, you want to know something, do you? Okay. First of all, you know, never trust an evil witch. But they say, okay then, you know what, Macbeth? You don't need to worry. You will be King of Scotland and nobody will be able to throw you until Burnham Wood come to Dunsinane. So that's like a big forest in Burnham, and obviously a forest doesn't just pick itself up and move. But of course, when the army finally invades to overthrow Macbeth, they're like, hey, how about for cover we grab some branches from Burnham Wood and walk with them to get closer to the castle. So while yes, the forest didn't move itself, there was a double meaning here, and the actual wood, the wood of the trees from Burnham came to Dunsinane. The second fantastic double meaning that the witches use on Macbeth is they say, don't worry, no man of woman born can harm Macbeth. And he's like, phew, because that's everyone. Every man is born of a woman, so like, sweet, I'm good, I'm home free, I'm clear. But of course they meant it in a literal sense. And when, in that great famous moment when Macduff is finally about to kill Macbeth, and he said, but the witches said no man of woman born could harm me. And he's like, ach, but, that was my Scottish accent, I don't know, but I was not of woman born, I was from my mother's womb untimely ripped, which is a really graphic way to describe a C-section, a cesarean. Technically he wasn't born through the birth canal, he was cut from his mother's womb. Therefore, through a doubleness and deception of language, the witches tricked Macbeth, and Macduff does indeed kill him. That is a really fun element to this play. Even when characters are joking around, they often use double meanings in language and exploit the potential double meanings of words. So if you are reading through this play or watching it, have a look out for these doublings that occur all throughout. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more from me, please hit subscribe and the little notifications bell.